But describe first, like, what is a luxury belief?
Essentially, historically, the upper strata of society have always found ways to stand out, to distinguish themselves. My claim is that historically it's been done through luxury goods, through material goods, through the clothing people would wear, the sort of accoutrements they would display, the possessions that they owned. But over time, material goods have become a noisier signal of one's social position. So 100 years ago, you could look at someone and immediately tell whether they were rich or poor just by their appearance and what they were wearing, and where they lived and so forth. Whereas today, it's less true. I'm not saying like material goods are no longer a reliable indicator of status, just noisier. However, the upper class today, the cultural elites, the elites of society, still want to display their prominence. And so the new way that they do this is through their luxury beliefs, through fashionable ideas, through trends, through holding peculiar and interesting and sometimes bizarre ideas that are at odds with conventional opinion. And this is sort of an expression of what the sociologist Pierre Bourdieu described as cultural capital. So luxury beliefs are a sort of expression of cultural capital. You can only obtain these ideas if you attend an expensive university, you read the right periodicals, you hang out with the right social circle, the right crowd, read the right books, and all of the luxury beliefs, these opinions that you express, are indicators of where you stand in society. And we can get into specific examples.
Yeah, what's an example of like a luxury belief that most people would recognize?
Well, the most probably recent luxury belief that I think a lot of people will remember is the defund the police movement. So this gained a lot of popularity in 2020. At one point, it was abolish the police, then it sort of shifted to defund the police. And so we've sort of seen some of the consequences of this. So defund the police became fashionable among cultural elites in 2020. And so this shifted attitudes around law enforcement and policing. Some of it was implemented in actual policy in certain states and certain regions. And various forms of crime have increased since then as a result. But there was a YouGov survey in 2020, which asked a representative sample of Americans, do you want to defund the police, essentially? And the group that was the most supportive of defunding the police, if you break down by income, the highest income category, they were the most supportive by far of defunding the police relative to the middle and lower income categories. Also relatedly, I think this was actually in Minneapolis, white residents of Minneapolis were more supportive of defunding the police than black residents. And so this is an example. Defund the police. It sounds interesting. It makes you sound like you sort of like you're on the vanguard of cultural trends. And saying like rethink, reimagine law enforcement. Suddenly, you sound like sophisticated and interesting. But those ideas have downstream effects on less fortunate people who don't wield the same level of influence in society. They're the ones who get to pay the cost of those luxury beliefs that garner you status among your peers.